Hi students, I am your maths teacher. In today's class, we are going to revise for our exams and I have done the sums based on the concept and now we are going to start with the sums. First one, method to solve the linear equation. Second, consistent and inconsistent. Third, Roach-Capri theorem. Fourth, trivial and non-trivial solution. Based on this concept, we are going to do the sums in exercise 1.6 and 1.7. And now we are going to recall what are all the methods we applied to solve the system of linear equation. Here we applied three methods, that is matrix inversion method, Cramer's rule and Gaussian elimination method, where A is a non-singular matrix. In matrix inversion method, if you see, the method is applied only when the coefficient matrix is a square matrix and non-singular. And you will be getting the value in this way, that is x is equal to A inverse B, where determinant A not equal to 0. Coming to Cramer's rule, this rule is also applied when the coefficient matrix is a square matrix and non-singular, and we will be finding the solution in this way, that is x is equal to delta 1 by delta, y delta 2 by delta, and z delta 3 by delta, where delta not equal to 0. Coming to Gaussian elimination method, this method can be applied even the coefficient matrix is not a square matrix. We transform the augmented matrix into row echelon form and then by back substitution, we get the solution. Back substitution is nothing but from the last equation to the first equation, we'll be finding it out, students. And consistent and inconsistent. A system of linear equation having at least one solution is said to be consistent, and a system of linear equation having no solution is said to be inconsistent. Just keep two things in your mind. Consistent means at least one solution. Inconsistent means no solution. Next, Roach-Capri theorem. This theorem is important. That is, a system of linear equation Ax equal to B is consistent. Just see the word, it must be consistent if and only if the rank of the coefficient matrix is equal to the rank of the augmented matrix. They are given you in the symbol form, that is rank of A is equal to rank of AB. And they have given you some rules. We are having three conditions here. The three conditions, the first one is if rank of A, rank of AB equal to n. N is nothing but number of unknowns. If you are going to have these three conditions are equal means, then I can say it is consistent and has a unique solution. Second, rank of A is equal to rank AB equal to n minus k, that is less than n. When I am doing the sum, I will explain you this second part. We can say that it is consistent and has infinitely many solutions. The third one, if rank of A not equal to rank of AB means, then the system Ax equal to B is inconsistent and has no solution. Based on these three concepts, we are going to do the exercise. Exercise 1.614. Test for consistency and if possible, solve the following system of equation by rank method. They are given you three equations here, that is 2x minus y plus z equal to 2. Second equation 6x minus 3y plus 3z equal to 6, and third equation 4x minus 2y plus 2z equal to 4. If you see these three equations, you are having three unknowns, that is x, y and z. And we are going to consider that unknown as n. Exercise 1.614. We are taking the equations. Left hand side we are having the variable and right hand side we are having the constant. First I am checking the number of unknowns, that is x, y and z, n equal to 3. Second, we are writing the matrix in the form Ax equal to B. I am taking A as the coefficients in x, y, z. I am taking the coefficients of x, y, z as A. Capital X is nothing but number of unknowns x, y, z, and B I am taking the values of the constant as it is given in the equation. Now applying the elementary row operations on the augmented matrix AB, we get the meaning of augmented matrix is I am going to join A and B matrix together, which becomes an augmented matrix. And if we check the augmented matrix is nothing but A matrix, I'm writing it as it is, and B matrix I'm joining, just I'm putting a slash line in between A and B. If you check the order of the matrix, we are having 3 rows and 4 columns. It is not a square matrix. That is why in Gaussian elimination method we told that the given matrix need not be a square matrix. Now I'm going to find using rank method, that is I'm going to apply row echelon form concept, that is interchanging of rows, multiplying constant and so on. The first target is I'm going to convert this 4 as 0. So what is the idea of finding rank? In the position of 4, 6 and -2 I want to bring 0. First what I am doing is in place of 4 I am converting the value as 0. Just see the steps, students. In place of 4 I am bringing it as 0. Then I am targeting on 2, or you can target on this place. In this place I already am getting it as 0. I am targeting on 2. While I am targeting on 2, I am getting the value. The last stage I am getting the value as 0. If you see, I am getting in the form of triangle. And now remember one thing, this slash line represents the first value belongs to A and the second value belongs to B. That is rank of A. What is the meaning of rank of A? Number of non-zero rows. First row I am having elements. Second and third row I am having 0. So only in first row I am having a non-zero element. That is why the rank of A equal to 1. Rank of AB is nothing but totally I am going to take this matrix fully. If you see, only in first row I am having the element and second and third I am not having the element. So rank of AB is also 1. Rank of A and rank of AB is equal. That is the value is 1. But n equal to 3. Number of unknown is 3. That is rank of A, rank of AB equal to n minus k. N is 3 and k is nothing but the rank of A and rank of AB, that is 1. 3 minus 1 equal to 2. That is for 2 variables I am going to replace the constant. That is I am going to replace another one alphabet. Just here. Hence the system is consistent with 2 parameter family of solution. From where I am getting this 2 is, from this calculation I am getting the value as 2. 2 parameter family of solution. That is I am going to go in reverse. For Z I am going to replace another variable as t parameter, and for y I am going to use another parameter as s, where s and t belongs to capital R. The equivalent system is written by using row echelon form we get. Before seeing this equation, we will see how we are getting this equation. That is, if you see the last matrix, we have found this matrix. In this matrix, in the top I am going to write it as x, y and z, and this is called as constant. And from this I am framing the equation like this. That is 4x minus 2y plus 2z equal to 4. In this way only I am getting the equation 4x minus 2y plus 2z equal to 4. After simplifying, what I am doing here is just I am replacing y and z by s and t. And from this equation I am getting the value for x. Just I am simplifying and getting the value of x as x is equal to 1 by 2 into t plus s minus t. That is, the solution set is x, y, z. Just I am replacing the values for x, y and z, where s comma t belongs to R. Since we are getting infinitely many solutions, the solution will be of this model, and we will be giving the values for s and t. We will be getting infinite number of solutions. Exercise 1.6 third sum. Investigate the values of lambda and nu. The system of linear equation 2x plus 3y plus 5z equal to 9, 7x plus 3y minus 5z equal to 8, 2x plus 3y plus lambda z equal to nu have no solution, unique solution and infinite number of solution. Exercise 1.6 third sum. We are taking the equations. In this equation I am having 3 unknowns, that is n equal to 3. That is x, y, z is known as the unknown. First I am going to write in this form, that is Ax equal to B. So first what is the thing is, what is the matrix for A is, I am going to take the coefficients of x, y and z, that is 2, 3, 5, 7, 3, minus 5, 2, 3, lambda. X is nothing but the variables x, y, z, and B is your constant, that is 9, 8, nu. Now I am going to find the augmented matrix, that is A, B. How to write the augmented matrix? That is 2, 3, 5, 7, 3, minus 5, 2, 3, lambda, 9, 8, nu. Now I am going to find the rank of this matrix. What is the concept, students? That is 2, 7, 3. In this position I am going to bring the value as 0. If you see, I am finding the rank. First I am going to bring in this place I am going to bring the value as 0. So what I am doing is R3 is equal to that is row 3 implies row 3 plus of minus 1 row 1. When I am calculating, I will be getting the answer like this, that is 0, 0, lambda minus 5, nu minus 9. The first 2 rows will be as it is. Now in place of 7 I want to bring the value as 0. It is not possible for me to bring it directly, so what I am going to do here is, that is R2 implies R2 plus minus 1 R1. If I do like this, I will get the value as 2, 3, 5, 9. In place of R2, I will get the value as 5, 0, minus 10, minus 1, 0, 0, lambda minus 5, nu minus 9. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to bring, in 5 2s are 10. So what I am going to do here is, R1, I am going to multiply this R1 by 5 R1, R2 by 2 into R2. That is, if I multiply, I will get the value as 10, 15, 25, 45. In 2 table, if I multiply by 2 table, I will get the value as 10, 0, minus 20, minus 2. The third row I am going to write it as it is 0, 0, lambda minus 5, nu minus 9. Why I am doing this calculation is, in place of 10 I want to bring the value as 0. So only one step I am going to do here. That is, what I am going to do here is, R2 implies R2 plus of minus 1 R1. If I do this calculation, I am going to get this answer. That is 10, 15, 25, 45. And the second place will be 0, minus 15, minus 45, minus 47. The last one is 0, 0, lambda minus 5, nu minus 9. Just for simplification, what I am going to do here is, in place of R1, just I am going to make the number easy. That is, I want to just divide by 5 table. If I divide, the last value what I am going to get here is 2, 3, 5, 9, 0, minus 15, minus 45, minus 47, 0, 0, lambda minus 5, nu minus 9. If you see, Now I'm getting zeros in the form of triangle. That is, row echelon form concept is over. Now we are going to check whether we are going to have no solution, unique solution and infinite number of solution. Now I'm taking the augmented matrix AB. I'm getting in this form. In these three places I'm getting the value as 0. Now I'm going to start to check the conditions, that is no solution, unique solution, infinite number of solution. For all these three concept we are going to check only the rank. No solution means rank of A not equal to rank of AB. Unique solution, rank of A equal to rank of AB equal to n. Infinite number of solution, rank of A equal to rank of AB less than n. In place of lambda and nu, I am going to give the value in such a way it is going to satisfy these three conditions on the basis of rank. Now I can give the number in such a way that I should get no solution. So in this place I am going to give the value for lambda equal to 5. In place of lambda I am going to give 5, nu equal to 5. And if you substitute the value for lambda and nu, you will get the value like this, 0, 0, 0, minus 4. This place is known as matrix A and this is B. Now just see students, what I am going to do is, if you check the rank of A here, just hide this one. If you check the rank of A, you will get it as 2 because the last row is fully 0. Rank of A is 2 and rank of AB equal to 3. That is fully I am going to see. I am having first row fully number, second row also number, third row also I am having the number. But rank of AB equal to 3. Both the ranks are different. So I can say that rank of A not equal to rank of AB. So since I am getting this concept, I can say that it has no solution. The second one is, I am going to talk about unique solution. What is the meaning of unique? I should get the number as 3. Since I am having n, the value for n is 3, I should make rank of A and rank of AB as 3. So what is the value I am going to give here? Apart from 5 and 9, I am going to give some other value so that I can get the rank as 3. So what I am going to do here is, you can give any value but it should be, rank A should be 3 and rank of AB must be 3. So what I am going to do is, I am going to give the value for lambda 6 and nu 6. You will be getting the value as rank AB equal to 2, 3, 5, 9, 0, minus 15, minus 45, minus 47, 0, 0, 1 and you will get the value as minus 3. Now if you see, rank of A is 3, rank of A bar B is also 3 and the number of unknowns, because of the condition unique solution means you have to check all these three conditions. Now I can say that implies rank of A equal to rank of A bar B equal to 3. All these three conditions satisfy, so I can say it as an unique solution. And the third one is infinite number of solution. Infinite number of solution. Infinite number of solution means the rank of A and rank of AB must be less than n. So what I am going to do is, I am going to give the value for lambda equal to 5, nu equal to 9. I will be getting in this form. If you check, rank of A equal to 2, rank of AB equal to 2 and n equal to 3. So I am getting the condition which is necessary for infinite number of solution. Next we are going to see exercise 1.7. Exercise 1.7, first sum. X number. First one, modulus of Z is equal to modulus of Z bar. Second is known as triangle inequality, that is modulus of Z1 plus Z2 is less than or equal to modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2. Third, modulus of Z1 into Z2. Multiplication of two complex number in a modulus can be written like this, that is modulus of Z1 into modulus of Z2. Fourth one, modulus of Z1 minus Z2 is greater than or equal to modulus of Z1 minus modulus of Z2. That is, if you see, second and fourth one is an important property and you will be using in your sums. Fifth one, in division also we can split and write. Sixth one, if you see, modulus of Z to the power n can be written as modulus of Z whole to the power n, where n is an integer. Seventh one, real part of Z is less than or equal to modulus of Z. Eighth one, imaginary part of Z is also less than or equal to modulus of Z. Using this one, we are going to first prove the triangle inequality. Then we are going to do the sums. And in this property, the two important properties, totally we are having 8. In that second and fourth one is very important, and that will be used in our sums. That is in exercise 2.5, we are going to use that properties. Just first go through these properties, then we'll start with the sums. Modulus of Z1 plus Z2 the whole square can be written like this. That is, I'm going to use this property, students. That is, modulus of Z square is equal to Z bar. Z into Z bar. In place of Z, what I'm having? Z1 plus Z2. So I'm going to write like this. Z1 plus Z2 into Z1 plus Z2 the whole bar. Please understand the concept. I am using this property, that is modulus of Z square. In this place I am having it as modulus of Z1 plus Z2 the whole square, which can be written in this way. Second, what I am going to do is modulus of Z1 plus Z2 into, I am writing this as it is. This bar sign can be written like this. That is Z1 the whole bar plus Z2 the whole bar. I am splitting this into 2. I am splitting this bar sign into 2. Next, what I am going to do is, I am going to multiply the complex numbers. That is Z1 into Z1 bar, Z1 into Z2 bar. Like this I am going to multiply. Just see the terms how I am going to write. Z1 bar plus Z1 Z2 bar plus, without changing the order you are going to write. Next one, Z2 Z1 bar plus Z2 Z2 bar. Now again I am going to use this property, that is Z bar can again be written as modulus of Z bar the whole square. So these two places can be written as modulus of Z bar the whole square. So just see here how I am going to write. That is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus, I am going to write these two values inside the bracket. That is Z1 Z2 bar plus Z2 Z1 bar plus modulus of Z2 the whole square. Now I am going to see the values inside the bracket, students. I am going to target only on Z2. Now just I am going to use this property. We know that you can write like this, that is Z can be written as Z bar the whole bar. Z which can be written as Z bar the whole bar, that is Z, we can write like this. So in place of Z2 I am going to write like this, Z2 bar the whole bar, double bar I am going to write. Why I am going to write like this is, I want to write in this format, that is Z1 Z2 bar. The second term inside the bracket should be also in this model, that is Z1 Z2 bar. So in this place is very important. Just see here how I am going to write. That is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus Z1 Z2 bar plus Z1 Z2 bar. Just see here, students, both the terms will be looking same, but Z1 Z2 bar whole bar. Now see here, without changing the meaning I am writing the term, that is Z1 bar is as it is. Z2 bar, the whole bar is nothing but again Z2. Plus, what is the last term? Modulus of Z2 the whole square. If you are going to write, if you are going to make any mistake in this place, you can't prove this theorem, students. So be careful in this place. Do the calculation correctly. Next, what I am going to do is, I am going to take another one property. That is, we know that a real part of Z, R is nothing but real part of Z is nothing but Z plus Z bar by 2. Now, if I am going to cross multiply this 2, shall I write like this? That is, 2 real part of Z is equal to Z plus Z bar. So, in place of Z plus Z bar, I am having this value, that is Z plus Z bar. Just imagine, in place of Z, I am having it as Z1, Z2 bar in my theorem. So, just see students how I am going to write. I am going to replace this concept in this place, that is modulus of Z1 the whole square plus 2 real part of Z1 Z2 bar plus modulus of Z2 the whole square. I hope that you are understanding the concept, students. So just take some time to analyze this one. Instead of Z, I am having the values Z1, Z2 bar. That is why I am writing the second term also in the form of Z1, Z2 bar. I am using this property. 2 into real part of Z is equal to Z plus Z bar, students. Now, what I am going to do is, again I am going to use another one property here. That is, in this place I am going to use a property. That is, a real part of Z is nothing but is less than or equal to modulus of Z. Real part of Z can be written as less than or equal to modulus of Z. If you notice properly, when I am starting my calculation to prove this property, I am using only equal to signs. Till now I didn't bring less than or equal to. In my question I am having it as less than or equal to. Still I didn't bring the less than or equal to sign. Real part of Z is less than or equal to modulus of Z. Now I am going to use this formula, that is, a real part of Z I am going to replace it as less than or equal to modulus of Z. This sign I am going to write it in front. Less than or equal to modulus of Z1 the whole square will be as it is, plus 2, instead of real part of Z I am going to write like this, modulus of Z1 Z2 bar plus modulus of Z2 bar the whole square, students. Now if you see here, which is less than or equal to, just observe the formula. I am going to use this algebraic formula. That is, what is the algebraic formula we are having here? That is, a square plus 2ab plus b square can be written as a plus b the whole square. In place of a, I am writing it as modulus of Z1, and in place of b, I am writing it as modulus of Z2. So shall I write like this, students? That is, just open the bracket, modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2 the whole square. That is, a plus b the whole square. Can be written a square plus 2ab plus b square, which is written as a plus b the whole square. This less than or equal to, I am writing it as it is. This is your right hand side. But left hand side, what is the value I am having here? That is modulus of Z1 plus Z2 the whole square. If I am going to take square root on both sides, that is taking square root on both sides, we get modulus of Z1 plus Z2 is less than or equal to modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2. Just observe the property, that is, this is a required triangle inequality property. That is, modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2 is less than or equal to modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2, students. In general, we have proved only for 2 complex numbers. Hence, we can prove for n complex numbers. That is, in general, I can tell it as modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2 plus etc. plus modulus of Zn can be written as modulus of Z1 plus modulus of Z2 plus etc. till modulus of Zn. And this is the required proof for triangle inequality. Theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. The Euler form can also be represented in polar form, that is Z equal to R e to the power I theta. Students, before starting with exercise 2.7 first sum, we are going to see how to convert a complex number in polar form. To convert a given complex number in polar form, we are going to use totally 6 steps here. That is, for your understanding, I have written like this, students. First, what I am going to do is, I am going to take a question, that is Z equal to x plus iy. What is the meaning of polar form? Z equal to R cos theta plus I sin theta. And that is the definition given in your polar form. This is your question, students. Z equal to x plus iy. I am going to write like this, that is Z equal to R cos theta plus I sin theta is nothing but, first I am going to write like this, x plus iy, that is x plus iy equal to R cos theta plus I sin theta. I am going to mark this as equation 1. So what I am going to find here is, I am going to find R and theta. So that is the procedure we are going to do here. So this is the first step, students. Keep this in your mind. Whatever question they are going to give you, you are going to write like this. Write the question in your left hand side, and right hand side you are going to write it in polar form, that is R cos theta plus I sin theta. The next work, I am going to find R and theta, and that is the procedure we are going to see in the following steps. Second, I am going to find R. The meaning of R is modulus. How to find R is, that is R equal to root of x square plus y square. You will get some value. You will be writing the value, students. That is R equal to root of x square plus y square. If you calculate, you will get an answer. Third step. Third, before finding theta, I am going to find alpha. I am not telling you more. Just for your understanding, I am just using only the notation, students. That is third, I am going to find alpha. What is the first step? First, I am writing the question as R cos theta plus I sin theta. Second, I am finding R using this formula, root of x square plus y square. Third, I am finding alpha. This alpha is not given in your question. So keep this in your mind. I am going to find alpha. Before finding theta, I am going to find alpha. So what is the formula for alpha? Alpha is equal to tan inverse of modulus of y by x. Don't forget this, students, modulus of y by x. Suppose if you are going to get a negative sign inside, you will be converting into positive. So I am going to use this one. Alpha is equal to tan inverse of modulus of y by x. Maximum you will be getting the value in this way, that is 30, 45 degree, 60 degree. Normally what is the value for tan alpha? That is tan 30 degree means 1 by root 3, tan 45 degree 1, tan 60 degree root 3. This 30, 45 and 60 can be written like this. That is 30 degree can be represented like this, pi by 6. 45 degree means pi by 4. 60 degree means pi by 3. In place of alpha, maximum I will be getting only these values. Suppose if you are going to get a value like this, alpha is equal to tan inverse of 1 by root 3. What is the corresponding angle I am having here? 30 degree. This 30 degree can be written as pi by 6. This is the procedure you will be doing in your sum, students. Next, coming to fourth step. I am going to find theta. So how to find theta? First, what we find till now, we have found only R and alpha. Now I am going to find theta. But how I am going to find theta is, I am going to see the, in my question I am going to just check my x and y. That is, I am going to check the sign of x and y. Using x and y sign only I am going to find theta, students. That is, I am going to fix the quadrant where that z lies. I am going to have, totally I am going to have 4 quadrants here. That is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant. I am going to convert this alpha into theta, and this is the procedure for finding theta. Suppose if x and y both the signs are positive means I can say z lies in first quadrant. Then how I am going to write this alpha, that is theta equal to alpha. Just you can keep this in your mind, students. You are going to memorize this concept, so it will be easy for you to do the calculation. You can understand and do it easily. Theta equal to alpha. If x negative and y positive means z lies in second quadrant, then I will be writing like this, theta equal to pi minus alpha. If x and y both are negative means z lies in third quadrant, theta equal to minus pi plus alpha. If x positive, y negative means z lies in fourth quadrant, that is theta equal to minus alpha, students. So what I am doing in the fourth step is I am converting this alpha value I am going to substitute in theta. That is how, this is a way of converting alpha into theta concept. That is, this is a way to find theta using this concept. Next, what I am going to do is, I am going to replace the values of r and theta. So what is the thing I told you, students? I am going to find r and theta. In between r and theta, I am finding alpha. Just fifth step, I am just replacing the values of r and theta in 1. After replacing, last step what I am going to do is, I am going to add 2k pi in the angle, which is in the angle. So I will be getting the required polar form. 2k pi, k is nothing but the value which belongs to z. So 2k pi, after adding 2k pi in the angle, I will get the required polar form. And now we are going to see the sums how to do in polar form in exercise 2.7, students. Exercise 2.7, second sum, students. That is, I am going to write this complex number in polar form. That is 3 minus I root 3. I am going to write in polar form. So what is the first step I am doing here, students? 3 minus I root 3 is equal to r cos theta plus I sin theta. This is the first step. And shall we write like this? I am going to mark this as equation 1, as I told you in the concept. So what is the value for x? X is nothing but the real part. Y is the imaginary part. I am going to write the real part x equal to 3 and imaginary part minus root 3. So this is the concept, students. I am taking this plus 3 as x and minus root 3 as y. Next, I am going to find r. So what is the procedure for finding r? R is equal to root of x square plus y square. Substitute the value, students. You will get the value as 2 root 3. That is, you will get the value as root 12. After simplifying, I will be getting the values. It is better to simplify the terms. If the terms simplify the term, you will get the value as 2 root 3. So the value for r is 2 root 3. Next, by x. So what is the value for y I am having here? Minus root 3, minus root 3 and x 3. So keep this in your mind, students. Using this only we are going to substitute the values. I am having modulus here. This 3 can be written as a root 3 into root 3. Cancel the root 3. Automatically you will get the value as tan alpha equal to 1 by root 3. That is, you can keep it as it is like this, or you can just bring this. Also, what is the value I am getting here is alpha is equal to tan inverse of 1 by root 3. After removing the modulus, it will be converted to positive. You can bring this tan here. If you bring it here, that is tan alpha is equal to 1 by root 3. Again, I am writing this 1 by root 3 as tan alpha is equal to tan 30 degree. You can do in any way, or just you can keep and you can find according to your convenient, you can find the value, no problem. What is the value for alpha I am getting here, students? That is, the angle is 30 degree. This 30 degree is nothing but pi by 6. Alpha is equal to pi by 6. So what is the value for alpha I am getting here? Pi by 6. Now I am going to find theta. So before finding theta, I am just checking here. That is, what is the sign for x here? I am having here, students, x, and the sign for x is positive and the sign for y is negative. So since 3 minus I root 3 lies in the fourth quadrant, what is the condition for fourth quadrant, student? X should be positive and y must be negative. That is the procedure. You know it very well. Lies in the fourth quadrant. It has a principal value theta equal to minus alpha. That is the condition for fourth quadrant. So what is the value for alpha I got here? Pi by 6. I am going to replace here, that is minus pi by 6. Since in the formula I am having negative, I am writing it as minus pi by 6. Theta equal to minus pi by 6. So after finding this one, I am replacing r and theta in equation 1. That is, from 1 I am going to write like this. For your understanding, I am writing like this, students. That is from 1. I am just replacing the value. 3 minus I root 3 is equal to R cos theta. Instead of R and theta, I am replacing the value. But that is not a final answer. To get a required polar form concept, you must add 2k pi in the angle. And that is your completing the sum in the polar form. That is what is 3 minus I root 3. I have written in polar form. What is the polar form, students? 2 root 3 into cos 2k. Exercise 2.7, fifth sum. If cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma equal to 0, then show that, first question, cos 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma equal to 3 into cos of alpha plus beta plus gamma, and similarly for sin also they are given you. In this question, we are going to prove these two parts of the question simultaneously. While I am doing the calculation itself, at the same time I will be getting both the answers together. Exercise 2.7, fifth sum. Cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma equal to 0 is the given condition. Here cos represents the real part and sin represents the imaginary part. Since in complex number we can write like this: z equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. Cos theta means a real part, sin theta is nothing but imaginary part. So a real part separately I am going to put 0, and imaginary part I am putting separately as 0, since it is the given condition. If you see here, I am having 3 angles, that is alpha, beta and gamma. What I am going to do is I am going to join like this, that is cos alpha, sin alpha, cos beta, sin beta and cos gamma, sin gamma. That is, I am going to take 3 notations A, B and C. Let A equal to cos alpha plus I sin alpha. That is, I am just writing in the form of complex number. Cos alpha plus I sin alpha, B cos beta plus I sin beta, and C cos gamma plus I sin gamma. Coming to a property, that is, if A plus B plus C equal to 0, if A plus B plus C equal to 0, if this condition is satisfied, then I can say A cube plus B cube plus C cube equal to 3ABC. Using this property, I am going to bring the answer. First, I am going to check whether when I am adding A, B and C, whether I am getting the answer as 0. So, first what I am going to do is I have done the calculation before, one step before, that is A plus B plus C. So, what is the value for A? Cos alpha plus I sin alpha. What I am doing here is, while I am writing itself, I am writing like this, that is real part plus imaginary part. Real part fully I am clubbing together, that is cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma plus I imaginary part. If you see, cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma equal to 0 plus imaginary part is also 0, since it is the given condition. Automatically I am getting the value for A plus B plus C equal to 0. So I can come to the next part, that is if the property is satisfied, directly this condition will also be satisfied, that is A cube plus B cube plus C cube equal to 3ABC. Since A plus B plus C equal to 0, I am directly using the property A cube plus B cube plus C cube equal to 3ABC. Now what I am going to do is, left hand side also I am having the value, right hand side also I am having the value. Just see the notation A, B, C. I am using 3 notations on left hand side and right hand side. First I have fixed the value for A, B and C. That is A cos alpha plus I sin alpha, B cos beta plus I sin beta, C cos gamma plus I sin gamma. What I am going to do is, just I am going to replace A, B, C by those complex values. That is cos alpha plus I sin alpha the whole cube, and similarly it goes on for beta and gamma equal to 3ABC. 3 into cos alpha plus I sin alpha into beta values and gamma values. First, you are going to take this one, cos alpha plus I sin alpha whole to the power 3. According to the De Moivre's theorem, what I am going to do is, the power can be written inside the angle, that is, can be multiplied. I am going to bring this power, I am just going to multiply this power with alpha. Similarly, I am going to multiply this power with beta and gamma. See the next step, I have done like this, that is cos 3 alpha plus I sin 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus I sin 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma plus I sin 3 gamma equal to, left hand side I have completed like this. Right hand side, what I have done is, I am using another one property which is applied in your book, and using that property I am just joining the real part, just adding the angles in the real part, cos alpha plus beta plus gamma plus I sin alpha plus beta plus gamma. After completing this step, you can multiply this 3 inside if you want. Overall, I am going to have like this, that is, I am just left hand side and right hand side, I am going to compare the real part and imaginary part separately. So, equating real part and imaginary part, I will get the required answer which is given in your book. Exercise 2.7, sixth sum. They are given you z equal to x plus iy and argument of z minus I divided by z plus 2 equal to pi by 4. Now, first I am going to take the value inside the argument. What is the value given here? Z minus I divided by z plus 2. So, what I am going to do here, students, I am going to take that one, z minus I divided by z plus 2. First, in place of z, I am going to replace the value as x plus iy. After replacing, I am going to arrange the real part and imaginary part. Just see here, students, I am arranging the real part and imaginary part in this way. After arranging, I am going to take the conjugate. How to take conjugate? That is, I am going to check my denominator. In the denominator, I am going to change the imaginary part sign. So, divide and multiply by x plus 2 minus iy. After simplifying the terms, so this place you will be having in this form, that is a plus b into a minus b, which can be written as a square minus b square. Simplify the term. Finally, I will be getting a value like this. Again, this value can be rewritten. I will tell you how to write. I am taking the question, argument of z minus I divided by z plus 2 equal to pi by 4. Inside that argument, I am replacing this value equal to pi by 4. What I am doing is, in the denominator part, I am splitting the denominator part into two, for real part separately and imaginary part separately. How to identify the imaginary part is, wherever you are going to have I, that term I am taking and writing it separately, students. So, this is going to be your real part and this is your imaginary part. Before doing the sum, just see here. Argument of a plus ib, that is real part plus imaginary part, can be written as tan inverse of b by a, that is imaginary divided by real. Argument, I am converting this argument using the formula, that is tan inverse of imaginary part divided by real part. This is imaginary part, students, that is you are having the imaginary part in fraction, and similarly real part also you are having in the form of fraction, equal to pi by 4. So, tan inverse, denominator part will get cancelled, only the numerator parts will be having here. You will be getting the value like this, equal to pi by 4. This tan inverse, if I am going to bring it to my right hand side, I can write it as tan pi by 4. Tan pi by 4 is nothing but tan 45 degree, which is equal to 1. So, in place of tan pi by 4, I am replacing the value as 1. Simplify the term, and the value which is necessary, which is given in your question, that is x square plus y square plus 3x minus 3y plus 2 equal to 0 is the required answer. In this class, we have completed exercise 2.7. Please, if you see in your left hand side, you are having 4 factors, x minus 5, x minus 7, x plus 6 and x plus 4. What we are going to do, how to do the calculation is, I'm going to form a grouping. That is, I'm going to group the factors in such a way x square and x term should be same. So you're going to check the grouping. 4 factors. You're going to join 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this first and last. Here the middle 2 terms. If you do in this way, you will get the answer. In this form, in the quadratic equation form, you will get the answer. That is x square minus x minus 20 into x square minus x minus 42. I'm bringing this 504 to my left hand side, students. So 4 factors. After grouping, you're going to get 2 quadratic equation. You're going to check it, students. That is, in 2 quadratic equation, x square and x term should be same. The constant can differ, but x square and x term should be same. So see to that. So I have underlined here x square minus x term. I have underlined. What I'm going to do now is, in place of x square minus x, I'm going to replace the value as y. X square minus x equal to y. So we get, so let me mark this as 1. So shall I write like this from 1? If I write, I will be getting the value y minus 20, y minus 42 minus 504 equal to 0. Again, if you multiply these 2 factors, you will get it in the form of quadratic equation. That is y square minus 62y plus 336 equal to 0. This is again in the form of quadratic equation. If you use quadratic formula, you are going to simplify the term, students. After simplifying, you will get the answer as 56, 6. So y equal to 56, y equal to 6, students. So when I am finding y, I am getting these 2 values. But what in place of y, what is the value we are having? That is x square minus x equal to y. Again, I am going to replace this y as x square minus x. So just you are going to replace this one. After replacing, you will be getting in quadratic equation. Just I am dividing this part into 2 sides. X square minus x minus 56 equal to 0. X square minus x minus 6 equal to 0, student. Again, if you see, you are getting quadratic equation. Repeatedly, you will be getting quadratic equation. So while you are doing the sum value, you will understand what to do. While I am explaining, you can understand, you will find it easy, but while you are doing the sum, you will find the difficulty. So just see to that, students. So x square minus x minus 56 equal to 0. X square minus x minus 6 equal to 0. You can use product sum method or quadratic formula. It is up to you. You're going to calculate, and totally I'm going to get 4 values. That is, x is equal to 8, x is equal to minus 7, x is equal to 3, and x is equal to minus 2. So the roots of the given equation is 8, minus 7, 3, and minus 2. So coming to the second question. Again, in the second question, you are having 4 factors. You are going to make a grouping, and the grouping should be in this way. That is, x square and x term must be same. Both should match each other. The constant can differ. So that is a process of doing the sum. In this case, what I am going to do is, I am going to take the first factor and the third factor. I am going to multiply. Second and 4 I am going to multiply, students. So you are going to see the combination. After checking the combination only, I am just selecting the factors in this way. So after selecting, what I am doing is, I am getting a value like this. X square minus 6x plus 8 into x square minus 6x minus 7 minus 16 equal to 0. I am just bringing this plus 16 to my left hand side. You will be getting like this. Same like the first sum. You are going to replace it as y. After replacing, you will be getting in the form of quadratic equation y square plus y minus 72 equal to 0. You are going to find using product sum or quadratic formula, students. After finding, you are going to find the values for y. That is y square plus 9y minus 8y plus 72 equal to 0. You are going to do the calculation, students. The final answer for y is going to be y equal to minus 9 and y equal to 8. But what is the value for y I am having here? y is nothing but x square minus 6x equal to minus 9, x square minus 6x equal to 8. Quadratic equation, form a quadratic equation. In this place I am using product sum method, and this place I am using quadratic formula. You can do the calculation in your own way. After finding, the final answer is x is equal to 3, x, that is 2 times I am getting x equal to 3. Here x is equal to 3 plus root 7 and 3 minus root 7. Therefore, the roots of the given equation is 3, 3 plus root 7, 17 and 3 minus root 17. 5. This is a question given in your book, students. What I am going to do is, first I am going to make some rearrangement work. I am going to calculate, simplify. First I am going to identify the question whether it is going to be ellipse or hyperbola. So first we are going to simplify this equation. How we are going to simplify is, I am just pairing the x terms and y terms, then constant separately. So in this case 18x square minus 144x, I am just putting it in the bracket, and y square y terms I am putting it in the bracket. Constant I am writing it separately, students. After doing this work, I am just taking the number alone out. 18 x square minus 8x plus 12 into y square plus 4y plus 120 equal to 0. If you observe here, in this case I can take x common outside, y also, but I am not taking. Just see to those conditions. X square minus 8x, instead of 8x I am writing it in this form, that is 2 into 4 into x. 4y I am writing it as 2 into y. Constant, left to right I am just shifting the value. I am getting the answer as minus 120. Then I can just dividing the number to make my simplification easy. Just I am dividing the numbers. It is up to you to do the calculation. So what is the adjustment I am going to do here? What is the thing I am going to do here is, I am going to apply the algebraic identity. Just see here the value which is inside the bracket, the value what I have ticked here. Just I am going to add and subtract those values in this case, that is x square minus 2 into 4 into x. The value which is inside the bracket I am going to add and subtract, that is plus 4 square minus 4 square. Similarly, just write these values inside the bracket, plus 2 square minus 2 square, add and subtract, equal to minus 20. You may have a doubt, what is the purpose of doing this one? To identify the equation whether it is going to be hyperbola or ellipse, we are doing this calculation. Now what we are going to do is, just I am seeing this middle term, students, that is you are going to take only the positive value. In plus positive negative you are going to take only the positive value. If you combine all these three, you will get it as x minus 4 the whole square, that is a minus b the whole square. Minus 4 square can be written as minus 16 plus 2 into all these three values combined together, y plus 2 the whole square minus 4 equal to minus 20. Just simplify the term. You are going to see that simplification, students. Simplify the term. After simplifying, you are going to just make small adjustment to the sums, and after doing all these works you will be getting in this format, that is 3 x minus 4 the whole square plus 2 y plus 2 the whole square equal to 36. In place of 36 I must have the value as 1. That is the concept for hyperbola, both hyperbola and ellipse. Divide by 36. After dividing by 36 you will be getting this value, that is x minus 4 the whole square by 12 plus y plus 2 the whole square by 18 equal to 1. Inside x, that is your format is going to be x minus h the whole square plus y minus k the whole square. Since I have to get a negative sign inside, this positive I am writing it as minus of minus 2 the whole square by 18 equal to 1. Now I am just finding out the equation here. Middle you are having positive, so it is going to be ellipse. You are going to take time to work out this particular calculation, students. Now only we are arriving to the main calculation. First I am identifying the equation whether it is going to be ellipse or hyperbola. In this case you are having ellipse. Convert the value. you are writing in this form. If you're going to check, just take out the values. H is going to be 4 and K is going to be -2. You have to be very careful in this place. The type of conic here is ellipse. Same procedure, we are going to find A, B, C and E students. So calculate, you're going to calculate the value. Here I am getting the value for A as 3 root 2, B 2 root 3 and C I am getting the value as root 6. After calculating C, you can find E in two different ways. The first one I told you, the formula method, or instead of C I can replace the value as A into E equal to root 6. Calculate, you will get the answer as E equal to 1 by root 3. Or if you apply the formula for eccentricity, also you will be getting the same answer as 1 by root 3. Center, vertex, focus, directrix, apply the formula and just substitute you are going to replace the values instead of H, K, A, C and E. Replace, you will get the required answer which is necessary for this question. Sixth question. They are given you this question, students. First, see the concept. X term, y term equal to constant. Just I am moving my constant from left to right. After moving the constant, what I am doing here is I am just taking only the number outside, which is common. Just I am taking only the number outside. X square x, y square y is inside. In place of 4x, 6y, you are splitting in the form of 2 table. 2 into 2 into x, 2 into 3 into y. Inside the bracket, see the values. Add and subtract the values. After add and subtracting, I told you the identity what you are going to apply here. A minus b the whole square formula. A plus b the whole square formula. Apply the formula. After applying, just do the calculation whatever necessary here. After doing the calculation, you will be getting the answer. You will be getting a format like this. That is 9 x minus 2 the whole square minus y plus 3 the whole square equal to 9. In place of 9, I should get the value as 1. So, divide by 9. After dividing by 9, your final answer is going to be in this way. That is x minus 2 the whole square by 1 minus y minus of minus 3. Instead of plus 3, minus of minus 3 the whole square divided by 9 equal to 1. So, it is of the form x minus h the whole square by a square minus y minus k the whole square by b square equal to 1. In place of h, I am having the value as 2 and in place of k, I am having the value as minus 3. So, the type of conic I am having here is hyperbola. So, we are going to find A, B, C and D students. You are going to try the calculation by yourself, try the calculations, and instead of to find E, I am using this method, that is C equal to root 10. Instead of C, I am replacing the value as AE. Calculate, you will get the value as E equal to root 10. Center, vertex, focus, directrix. These formulas I am just taking from the table, whatever I have given.